Hi, welcome to How Roots Will Travel. My name is Lisa Elvin Staltari, and I am a genealogist and a passionate traveler. For those of you who have been traveling with me, we are now on episode number 42. So I welcome you back, and for those of you who it's their first time, please welcome. We are exploring Les Filles du Roi, or the King's Daughters, in this special series, and each week, we are looking at a different fille du roi and kind of profiling her and figuring out what she's all about. If there's one fille du roi in particular that you are anxious to get more information on, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to move her to the front of the line. Please also remember to subscribe to the channel and click on like and notify and all that good stuff. All of that helps me out. I'm also on Twitter and Facebook, and there's a website as well. In case you want to write to me, Lisa at haverootswilltravel.com is how you get a hold of me. And with that, let's get started, shall we? For those of you new to the channel, Les Filles du Roi, the program 2.0, is a video that I put out that explains the program, how it was begun by Jean Talon in 1663 and why, and all of the ins and outs of the program and what comprises a fille du roi. So I think it's important, if you are studying this subject matter and want to know more, for you to have a look at that video as well. Today we are looking at Louise Vitard, who happens to be my 8 times great-grandmother, another one of my great-grandmoms. Let's get to know Louise a little bit more. Louise was born in 1649 in the parish of Saint-Sulpice in Paris, France. Her parents were Robert Vitard and Louise Parent. The church that she would have been baptized in is the Church of Saint-Sulpice, and it is a renowned one. It's only slightly smaller than Notre Dame, and it has existed since the 1600s. Probably around, it began being built around 1649, this actual church. The church beforehand dates back to the 10th or 11th century, but this would have been a very new church when Louise would have been baptized here. The 6th arrondissement, which is how Paris is laid out, remember it's in circles. So the 6th arrondissement is a section of Paris that is renowned for the culture and for the educational opportunities. There's so many fine schools here. L'École nationale supérieure des beaux-arts, les écoles des hautes études en sciences sociales, Institut de France. They have the Odeon Theater. There's just so much going on in that particular 6th arrondissement that it is really a mecca for the cultural and educational elite of Paris. And I have known many of Les Filles du Roi that I've been studying who have come from exactly this particular parish. So I find it interesting to note that they would have come from this extraordinary cultural background and then been exposed to, you know, the very basic New French. I have to believe that on some level, I think they imported a little bit of culture into New France by being those girls from that area. I suspect that this is part of the Quebec legacy, if you will. Her father's death precipitated her decision at age 22 to be recruited to be a fille du roi. She brought with her a dowry worth about 600 pounds, which is today's dollars is about 100,000, according to Google. Along on this journey on the Place Maurice were Marie Charpentier, that we saw on video number 30, Jeanne Chevalier, number 37, Elizabeth Crétel, way back in number 12, and Antoinette Lefebvre in number 25. So all of these ladies were there, and a few of them actually had quite a bit of money as well. So more research needs to be done as to, you know, what was going on, and or was that just a coincidence that a lot of these ladies had money and happened to be traveling on that ship. They arrived in Quebec City on July 30th, 1671. So who did Louise choose? Well, she didn't choose just some guy off a ship, right? She chose Guilluame de Denevers de Bretigny. He was actually a Quebec-born citizen at that time. He was born August 25th, 1654 in Sillery, Quebec, to his parents who were immigrants, he was the second generation. Etienne Denevers du Frontenac and Anne Ayotte are extraordinary pioneers in Quebec. And Guilluame, actually, their son Guilluame, was already a notary for the Seigneurie of Louvre. So he was obviously off to a good start. He needed, obviously, to find a woman of substance, and so he did. Louise and Guilluame were married at the Mission des Silleries, which is actually the Mission des Jésuites, and you can find on the bottom part of your screen right there, the picture. So December 10th, 1671, Etienne Denevers, Guillaume's father, promised that he would provide room and board for them for about a year, and then they would obtain a plot of land in the Seigneurie of Lauzon. So the upper left picture is the actual marriage document. It's so hard to read. There are no words to tell you how hard it is. And then the picture on the upper right is the way Sillery would look today. It does look today. It was just amazing, amazing, beautiful place. So finally, after that first year, Guilluame and Louise settled in Lauzon. Lauzon had been settled back in 1636 by, obviously, a man named Lauzon. He was kind of an absentee seigneur. His son, Jean de Lauzon, would actually take it over in 1651 and have it for about 10 years. And then the third son, Charles de Lauzon, he would take it over, and he would actually become the seigneur for a good 30 years. And a lot of the principal founding of Lauzon occurred in that particular district. These maps are really amazing maps in terms of the, how the seigneurie was laid out. One of the principal people that founded or was really has nothing to do with our story, but I need to share with you Guillaume Couture, for those of you who may have that as a family ancestor. What really and truly is the founder, if you will, of Lauzon. He was the first habitant, and he came across, he was an extraordinary human being. He was actually a Jesuit priest who at a point in his life said, you know what, I need to leave the priesthood and I need to build. So he was working with the Indians. He had so many jobs, and here he finally said, okay, I want to settle down, and he left the priesthood and he got married. So these are the people that our people would have been connected with on some level. So that's kind of such a cool thing to think about. Some of the founding families of Lauzon I need to share with you, because it really is quite amazing to see. If you have family here, obviously I'm going to just say them very slowly so you can have a look at them, or just think about it. Bissot, Broulotte dit Gesseron, Gay, Carrier, Allais, Béguet, Bourget, et Huard. So if those are family names that are familiar to you, you need to explore if your family roots are in Lauzon. And of course, that is the parish church that was eventually built as well. I also want to talk about the fact that when you're looking for Lauzon, you're going to find it under many names. So it starts off as Cap de Lévis, Côte de Lauzon, Saint-Joseph de Pointe-Lévis, Saint-Joseph de Lévis, Point-Lévis, and Point-Lévis, which is, the last one was the British or English sounding name for it as well. So always remember, please, in Quebec, arose by any other name. So you really have to make sure that you've got the right name. So Guillaume and Louise are building their family. So they first off have Anne-Catherine, who would go on to marry Gervais Houd, and she would have 9 children, all of whom reach adulthood. Then their second child, François, who is my direct ancestor, married Marie-Anne Marcotte, and they would have 8 children, all of whom reached adulthood. Louis would die at 5 years of age. Jacques-Alexandre married Marie Baudette, and as far as we can tell, had 2 children who reached adulthood. Jean would die in infancy, and Guillaume would die at about 9 years of age. I want to draw your attention to the bottom of the screen where I show you, it's a snippet of the 1681 census. So they are in Lauzon. And so we have Guillaume de Denevers, 28, Louise Vitard, sa femme, 32. I haven't actually made that mark that she was actually older than him. Enfant, Anne-Catherine, okay. So then we have François, we have Louis, who is still alive, and Alexandre Jacques, 2 years old. And then we have a servant, 17. She was 17 years old, and they actually had enough money to employ a servant. So wouldn't you love to find out who Anne was? I would. And so they also had one gun, and une vache, which means one cow, and they had 20 arpents en valeur. So they had about 15 acres of land. Very, very good for a young couple. Unfortunately, their final years, we do not have any paperwork for this. We do not know where they're buried. We don't already prove. Obviously, we know they've passed on, but we don't know when. We don't know the details, any of that. So we can only surmise that after June 15, 1715, which is the last recorded notation for them, that they passed sometime around. After that, there was some sort of donation in their name, so that indicates that perhaps there was some sort of fund created because they had passed on, or I'm not sure. But this is a picture of the cimetière at Lauzon, where I'm assuming they would have been buried at. And but even though we don't have all the information about their passing, we know that in the end, they would have lived together for 44 years, a remarkable achievement. And due to his profession as notary and also as a farmer, we know that they were among those people who helped Lauzon and this area thrive and grow up, if you will. And so I think it is an incredible tribute to them, and that she came across and married into a very good family and helped. I can only assume that she helped him develop and grow in this area of Quebec, and for that we thank her. And I think it's remarkable that they are truly pioneers of Lauzon and of the Denevers family as well, which is a very old and distinguished family. So with that, I bid you adieu, and we will see you on video number, I guess it'll be 43. So until then, au revoir.